if we're not aware of who we are, then we're gonna miss those warning signs and end up doing things that are not truly a reflection of who we want to be.
Yeah. Anyone wants to add anything?
Well,
Any
like
addition?
I think I think a lot of people need to understand. I think that everything starts with your personal. I mean, your business, who you are is going to run into your business, right? So like in the Marine Corps, we have 14 characters. JJ did Ty Buckle. So I know it's an acronym. So as a leader, as a person, do you practice those things? Can people see justice, judgment, decisiveness, integrity, development, right? Integrity. I go on. So you got to ask yourself when you're developing your character, how many of those skills are inside of you? How many traits are you utilizing to develop who you are? And that's why I say anybody, if you want to be successful, anything you want to do, you got to look within yourself. If your business suffers, it's because some person is suffering, and the problem is that it'll never be right because the common denominator is you. So you got to fix you in order to fix everything else and stuff. So that's why I always, I tell my leaders in the Marine Corps, look, man, you got to develop a set of characters so everybody can know what to expect from you. You can't have wavering. You can't be all over the place. You gotta know where you're going and who you are in order to be effective.
Yeah,
Really good.
I like that. So mainly, I need to share with you. The photo is not opening. Can you see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mainly, these are lists of some of the main things that affect success in our life. Its character is about how we think, it's about our values, and at the same time how we think and how we behave in a certain way in the morals, as Arthur said. So we have restraint, the limits we put to ourselves, generosity, hard work, motives, what motivates us, honesty, patience, humility, productivity, dependability. So between all these things, which one do you feel, or what two things that you feel that you need to work more on in order to increase your success?
Let me see here.
Debt.
Debt?
Yeah, being a better steward of my resources.
Yeah. So it's debt and mainly financial awareness.
Mm-hmm.
You get two leaders in this domain. You have Arthur and Cynthia. They can give you the advice you want.
Oh, thank you.
I think
this is a bonus. Yep.
Most definitely patience. I gotta work on that.
You always mention that in every session.
Most definitely patience, and maybe I'm looking maybe understanding people a little better. I think that's probably, just understand everybody don't think like me. Understand that there's people still. So I say those two. I would say understanding people and patience.
Okay, and what will you do to improve this level of patience and understanding people? What will you tell yourself?
Listen, be more conscious of others. That, and it comes. I just have to understand that people bloom at different times, right? People bloom at different times. And you got to understand it because you've done this, and this time frame doesn't mean everybody else does, right? So. Understanding people.
Mm-hmm.
I used to always say, when one of the saying in the military, you gotta take this to, don't take it back. We always say civilians are idiots. We say that civilians are idiots. They don't get it. They're weak. They're spineless. Because what they cry about. So it's been an understanding people, man. And understand that, hey, it doesn't make them any lesser than you or whatever, because of the fact that they don't think like you or they don't respond like you stuff. So I have to, not that I don't appreciate it, just understanding that, not just get out of my own way. So I got to work on that.
I'm reading this book called, it's something about habits. And he mentions, you know, leaders need to build the habit of giving people the benefit of the doubt to see the positive in them until they show us otherwise. And I think that's one of the things with understanding people. It's like putting yourself in their shoes, you know, because I have had that instance as a civilian, you know, talking to somebody who's been in the military, and he expressed, you know, that it would make him angry almost to hear the things that people would say, because we don't have a perspective of how really the world is, you know. And for those that have been in the service, I mean, they have seen things and experienced things that we some of us will never do in our lifetime. And it brought to me like an understanding of, like, because I just thought he was antisocial and mean and rude, you know, and it just gave me like a perspective and an understanding that if I would have given him the benefit of the doubt, that, you know, there's a reason why he's responding that way, and then asking, you know, I wouldn't have learned what I learned in regards to his perspective of people.
You know, what you say is so true, but let me, you know, but this is, you know, and I tell people this all the time about us military, especially Marines, we're ruined. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's because we're taught to find fault. We expect to find fault, and so therefore we automatically, I guess, we place judgment. We expect certain things, and if you're not there, then that means that you're not cutting it. It means you're weak and stuff. So as a leader, taking people to combat and certain things, man, you know, but that's what's something that I have to understand. I have to change that thought process of understanding people, because the fact that, you know, we're not in the military, and, you know, spending 20 some years, and your mind is, I spent more time in than I've been out stuff. So, but most definitely, that's why I, you know, we think differently, man. And sometimes it gets in the way. It really does.
Yeah. Now, I remembered something I studied in NLP, the presuppositions. It says every behavior has a positive intention. Everyone is doing the best they can with the resources they have available. People make the best choice they can at the time. So everyone, even people who do something wrong, this is the best way they think at this time, according to the resources that they have, to the level of their thinking. So it's important to think of this perspective in order to understand more how people are behaving. They respond to their experience, not to the reality of life.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, Sarah, hi. Welcome home, Sarah. Any comment? Why are you silent today?
Hello.
Both.
We're both silent.
Mm-hmm. Just listening.
We're working on that. I'm just kidding. That's one of our items.
Do you have anything to add? Any opinion? What are the most two things that you feel you need to improve in your character?
I'm on my phone, so I don't see who wants to speak. But
go ahead.
I go ahead. Okay. Yeah. One thing that I feel like I should work better on is boundaries. I tend to say yes a lot before I need to say more, say no more often, but I always choose to say yes. Yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll do that. And
how is it affecting you?
I take on more than I can handle, and I feel like I put other people's
interest more than your interest.
Yes,
what matters to you. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I should be translating your English.
Yeah.
Michael.
I think the character is something that you have inside of you, almost like a framework that gives you structure and strength to be upstanding in the face of either uncertainty or contrary opinions. I would say my area of where I need to focus on is probably confrontation. I think I need to be more confrontational because it's kind of like the reverse of what Sarah just said with her boundaries, because I also, not that I say yes, but I just necessarily like go with the flow a lot. So even if it's detrimental to myself. So I feel like I probably need to like stand up for myself more, I guess. Maybe not in a confrontational manner.
Okay.
But yeah, that's, I think probably I need to work on that.
Yep. And what are the steps that you will be doing? Or what will you be telling yourself during the day? Affirmations. What?
I would say that it just goes back to having like a rock solid mind and not succumbing to negative thoughts and emotions, and being mindful and aware of the fact that that's a weak spot for me, so that I can actively look for opportunities in order to engage.
Is it related to the need to please people? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to be annoyed from me or hurt.
100%.
Okay. So you need to focus on that. That it's not important to, you can't please everyone. And there's always reasons that you have to do what you have to do, whether they are happy or not.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, for example, I had already logged off for the day, but I got a work call right before this meeting, which is why I was late, and I was taking that, and I didn't necessarily have to. But, you know,
Yeah.
it's fine.
You will learn, and in the process what the good point now that you know now what you need to improve, and then it's easier to take the right steps when you are aware of your actions. Cynthia?
You want me to choose which one I need to work on?
Yep.
I think I tend to be I'm gonna say somewhat emotional. I tend to be emotional, and I used to make emotional decisions, which I learned not to do. You know, I had to learn to make logic decisions, especially being in business. But I think that's something that, you know, that being who I am, I tend to get emotional in certain things, although I've learned, and it seems like sometimes it seems like things don't affect me, but I just know how to work around it. I know how to keep it to myself, especially, you know, when I don't know, I don't want others to know. So, but I think that's something that's always important, because like Michael and Sarah were sharing, right? I think sometimes we try to be really careful. We try not to hurt someone or make them feel uncomfortable. So we want to say yes, or we don't want to say no. But to me, it's more like being always in harmony with people. And so that's one of the things that I would say that I would have to work on a little bit more. And I think that everything else, I mean, obviously we all can work on everything. We all can get better, but that's the most important one.
Yep. Okay, out of all these, what do you think is one thing that's necessary in every situation, and there can't be any, like, we can have someone who is successful who is not really patient, or he is not really confrontational, but there's one of these that you can't do anything in life, you can't succeed in anything without having this character. What do you feel is it the most important character all these.
Positive attitude.
Positive attitude.
That's a good one, yeah. I say that one, forgiveness. If we don't learn to forgive, you know, then it's always like you always hold grudges, and that really can affect your thinking and your emotions. So
Yeah.
I think that we have to.
Now, all of them affect negativity. Even if we don't have ownership or we don't have goals and dreams, they affect us negatively, and we can't achieve the success that we want. Like, as I said at the beginning, character growth determines the height of our personal growth. We can't grow enough if we don't have a good character and high level in all of these points. But before I answer, do you have any answer, Sarah, Sylvia, Arthur?
I think direction. Like if you don't have direction, it doesn't matter if you're honest or ethical or understand people. Like you're not going to go anywhere because you don't know where you're going. That's what I think.
Arthur, it's an exam.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I believe that too. I believe in gotta have direction. You gotta have direction. Planning direction is important. Yeah.
They are all important. That's the point. But if you have everything, but you are not honest, how does it go?
I think when you're not being honest with yourself or with others in life, it just comes back to bite you. So, I mean, might be able to pull it off for a little while, but in the end, you're just doing yourself harm if you're just lying. And
yeah. So here in the book, they say honesty is the core of every good character. If you're not honest in what you're doing, it's important, you said it, Michael, it's not honest with yourself, then you won't be able to do anything. The more you are clear, transparent, and honest with yourself, you know your weaknesses and your strength, and honest with people around you, then you are having the basics, and then you can grow with all the things. You can learn to be more responsible, how to have ownership of your dreams. You can learn emotions. Ethics, I feel ethics are different from a society to it's really in raising. There are some things that are basic, but it's different between situations and societies, but mainly humanity. Let me stop sharing so I can see you clear, because I can see you. Sarah, you're with us or you left? Keep going. And
I'm here.
okay, so you didn't answer. What's the question? What's the most important thing to you? Okay.
Oh, was I on mute?
Yep. Now we're listening.
Oh, okay. Like you said, I feel honesty is number one. Other characteristics I feel like you can grow into, but honesty I feel like is hard to become honest if you're dishonest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something, it grows with you when you are young. If you are used to be honest and lie to yourself and to the people around you, it's hard to be really change this, this habit.
I agree.
Okay, that's great. So do you agree that 99% of leadership failures are failures of character?
Yes.
You see. Okay, if we want to say how successful people think, who read this book?
but
I've read parts of it.
Yep. So if you want to describe how successful people think, after we discussed all these things so far, what will your answer be?
Successful people are aware of themselves and constantly in working progress.
That sounds pretty good, Sylvia. You're like, did I answer that right?
Yeah, like
Your face. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yep, it's awareness, understanding yourself, and keep working towards your goal. The success comes with, is hard work a necessity to achieve success?
It's what?
Is hard work like something really needed to achieve success?
I would say it depends on what you define hard work. I would say consistency, commitment, because maybe it's not hard work, but it's definitely dedication and commitment to what you're doing. I think construction is hard work. I think having to be solving people's problems all day, I think that's mentally hard work, because we would not want to be in that business. But I think that it can be very, but I don't think it's necessarily hard work, but it's definitely commitment, consistency, and dedication. What do you think, Arthur?
I think everything requires work, and I think it depends on how you view it. I mean, I think that when you love doing something, it's not hard. If you don't love doing it, then it becomes hard to you. But then again, sometimes there's some things in order to get passion, sometimes it's got to be hard for you, and hard can come through change and stuff. So, I think we all at some point, no matter what we do in life, everything starts out hard, and then at some point it becomes simple. It becomes easy stuff. So, yeah, I think
Yeah. Now the point is, some people work hard and they are working all the time, but it's like the person we talked about in the beginning of our talk, who has great ambition, always present, always doing the actions, but he doesn't have the character to create the right strategy and the right mindset to work the right way. It's like working harder, not smarter. So the way to succeed is working smarter. Instead of spending 2-3 hours doing the thing, spend 1 hour building a strategy, and then it will be a lot easier when you have the strategy. So it's all about mindset, not action. This is and Cynthia explained part of it. Now let's start in building the character. There are several steps we need to focus on in building the right character. The first thing is focus on the inside, not on the outside. Many people focus on what's outside of them, and this doesn't change the quality of their life or the level of their achievement. We need to start from the inside. Jim Rohn, in one of his talks, he said, to be a successful person, you need to learn, when you leave the room of your hotel, turn off the light. It starts from these simple things, and it's not about when you are thinking of being a leader and being successful. It's not about does it affect me or not. It's about being a clean person. You are convinced that turning off the light preserves energy. It doesn't matter if it was your room or you are paying for the electricity or someone else. Just do the right thing. And it starts with this simple thing. It's just like when you wake up in the morning, you need to fix your bed. Many people say it doesn't matter if I fix my bed or not. But the point is, it starts by doing the right thing, by clearing out the mess in your life. It starts with clearing out the mess on your bed. So what are things inside of you right now that needs more polishing? We talked about patience. We talk about for our feel things that are limiting you or stopping you from advancing further from the inside. Maybe you are not really aware of, but maybe now you are raising this awareness. When we talk about something, you say it a little bit clearer. It's a tough question. It's deep.
How do we become more self-aware? I guess if you're saying that we need to be aware, we may not be aware of these things that we need to work on. I guess maybe that, in my mind, would be a good place to start, just as like a assessment to become more aware.
I have a story to share. So I had noticed, like at work, especially with the whole COVID
Is
thing.
it my internet or Sylvia's internet?
Yours.
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 You're cutting out a little bit.
You're good, Sylvia.
You're good. Okay. Especially with the whole COVID thing, like I'm normally very productive. I have no trouble being a self-starter, but I started noticing like working from home, I was really like hitting a lot of like roadblocks when it came to productivity. And with my job, because I'm salary, you know, as long as I meet my deadlines, it doesn't matter how or when I meet them, as long as, you know, I meet those deadlines. But that's not how I work. You know, if I can finish something sooner, then I want to finish it sooner, because that means that I get to move on to something else and accomplish more things. And so I had to really ask myself, like I felt like energy was being drained from me every time I sat at this desk. And journaling really helps me bring that self-awareness to where I just started asking myself questions, because I started noticing that every time I sat at my work desk, my productivity just went down. Like my energy physically just went down. My focus went down. And so I asked myself, like, what's on your mind when you sit here? And the answer that I had for me was, this was this office, my home office, is my creative space. This is where I'm supposed to write, make music, things not related to my job. And so now that I'm working from home, my creative space became my workspace, you know, things that I have to do. And it was just a constant reminder to me of, for one, I'm very empathetic. And so seeing what's happening in the world, like, just drained me. Because I had no control over what's happening. You know, the whole COVID thing was just a reminder to me that there's the world's broken and the world's closed and things are not normal, and it just emotionally was draining. And then the second thing, I'm like, you know, once I figured out what was triggering me to lose my focus, I started researching, like on Google, just like how can I get past those mental barriers? And I came across something called frustration tolerance. And it's true, I get frustrated very easily when I can't figure something out right away. My go-to is to just move on to something else or to give up on it. And so to me, that was a character flaw that I was dealing with, that I needed to build that tolerance, like really be in tune with what was causing the frustration and to push through it. So, you know, the moment that I sat at my desk and I started feeling that drain of energy, I started to do positive affirmations of how lucky I am to still have a job, that I still have an opportunity to make a difference, that the projects that I have set forth actually are helping people put food on the table, because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that was feeling this way. And I have an opportunity and a platform where I get to create and still be creative. So my creative space, even though it was taken over by my work, it still gives me an opportunity to be my creative self, which is what truly lights me up and makes me happy and motivates me, that I can do things that impact people. And I just had to started to shift my focus. And it was a term called frustration tolerance. I had never heard about that, but this whole article just broke it down for me. And I related so much to it that I was like, well, at least it's good to know I'm not the only one that feels this way, because I know that there's people who are thriving working from home. Like, this is their dream, you know? But for me, it's not. It's just a constant reminder that I can't be in my office and that there's something wrong. And I had to like address that thinking, to see the silver lining in the midst of the chaos, so that I could be myself and be my real self. I'm productive, and I'm goal oriented, and a pandemic is not going to change that about me.
Yeah, wow, I like that. Yeah, mainly I say working from home is overrated, because everyone, when he's working outside, they wish they stay at home, but when they stay for 1 week and trying to be productive and all the distractions around you, it's not a place for work. And that's why the biggest example, Arthur and Cynthia, they live very close and they can be working from home, but they have an office. When they are in the office, they are productive. They are just outside of the relaxing part. And in self-development, we say you shouldn't read when you are in bed, because it's a place for sleeping. So when you start reading when you're in bed, you'll directly get sleepy, and you won't be reading as effectively as when you are reading on a place specific for reading, a couch or on a desk or something. So everything, emotions are created by motion. How you sit, where you sit affects your emotions, and that affects your creativity. I like that you brought that up. Any comment? We are talking how your inside influences your outside. Your emotions, what you feel,
Yeah,
what you believe, how it affects the results.
I mean, I was saying, I said, what you think is what you think is how you feel. How you feel is what you do. And
Yeah.
it's, and I think that Sylvia was spot on. I mean, stuff. So I mean, where you know, work from home. Some people can I think that if you got structure, if you block off a section in your house and that becomes your office, you get up, you get dressed, you walk into that door, and you treat it like you're going to work, then
It's office, yeah.
your mind is good. But if you're going downstairs and going to the kitchen table in your pajamas and sitting down, your mindset is like, hey, what I'm thinking is that I'm thinking about I'm still should be in the relaxed mode. So
Yep.
I think there's so much that you have a set of schedule, and stuff. So I mean, the beauty of coming to the office, there's no, like you said, there's no distractions where the phone doesn't ring, or I feel like to go outside and water the flowers or whatever it is. So when I come to his office, I don't leave until 6, right? Stuff.
Yep.
So it creates like so inside of me. I mean, me myself. I think I love the fact that that I have an office. I can have a schedule. It's a set schedule, and I tell myself that 9 to 6 is you're going to be doing work. All right. So it doesn't matter what's going on. 9 to 6, you're going to do work and stuff.
Yep.
So that the way I think is how I start to feel, and then of course what I do. So I'm busy from 9 to 6.
It's when you're there, you need to, like right now, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. So I have the living room and the bedroom. When COVID started and I'm working from home, I used to sit on the living room couch with the laptop on my lap and doing the work. And I wasn't at all like not productive, because you start working, then you lay down, then you get sleepy. But then I decided to get a table and a chair, like an official desk. And when I sit on this table, I feel I'm starting to be productive. I'm sitting here because I want to do something. So it's really how we think in our heart, how we become and what we do. So it's really all the productions. It's not about what you think, it's about also how you feel. And this is how you need to control your productivity, by putting yourself in the right mindset and in the right emotions. Any comment? Cynthia, Michael, Sarah, very silent today. What's going on?
I mean, is your question is what affects what I experience?
inside influences outside. Maybe what things like Sylvia said it, what things she felt that she's in a place where she has to be creative. Now she needs to do it. She needs to do work. So it's really wasn't productive for her. So because what's inside her affected what's going on or her productivity. I was a little bit distracted, but because I was reading what Sylvia was writing. So how what's inside of you influences your production or the outside or the results?
I think that some of the things that can affect me or distract me is, I guess if somebody, friends or family are calling me or texting me for not, are we talking business or personal?
Anything. It's about your own personal growth. And you apply it in business and in your life and everything.
Okay. Well, I guess sometimes I let other people dictate how I feel instead of me saying, you know what, I'm going to control. I have control of it, and it's based on what I say. This is how it's going to go, and so I think that's what it will be. That not all the time, but sometimes I allow that which can be a distraction from me being focused on the things that are important. And I'm the type of person that I'm so, I guess you can call it tunnel vision, where if this is where I want to go, this is where I need to go, and what happens here, it doesn't matter, because this is the way it needs to be. It needs to be, instead of being open to say, okay, maybe this is happening because of this reason, maybe this is happening, and not let that affect me, because I'm thinking this is where I should be going, and then things happen, and so that causes me to get distracted. It causes me to focus on other things that are not beneficial. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
So
Arthur, you want to say anything?
No, I thought I chimed in already.
Okay. I thought you want to comment on Cynthia. Michael, Sarah.
Go ahead, Michael.
I think it's really important that you feel good on the inside, and just, I mean, that could mean your character in the physical, but also just making sure that you take care of yourself and have the right energy. I'm coming to you now. I've been working like 12-hour days, and I haven't had, I've only eaten really breakfast and a snack today. So I don't feel good. And that's why I'm a little bit more silent than usual.
Mm-hmm. It's about, we talked about the pillars and the managing the balance in everything. So protein shake, you will get back the energy.
No, Sarah, let's hear from you.
Sarah.
Everyone shared things that I also believe. The way I feel sometimes dictates how my day goes, and I try not to let that happen. The way I feel dictates how I'm going to dress, what colors I'm going to wear, dark, bright. And then I feel like that also affects the energy that I'm projecting to others.
Yep.
Yeah. And the way I feel can easily be affected also by others. So if the room is down, I absorb that energy, and it brings me down.
Yep. Now you mentioned something. We are coming to the next point. It's inside victories proceed outside ones. We are always in fight inside of us to do this or this, and to take choices of, do we need to work or go on vacation? Do we need to sleep or study a little bit more? So all these fights inside of us determine the quality of our character and the quality of success. Yesterday, I was listening to, what's his name, Darren Hardy, and he was talking that every person in the world is lazy. Laziness is a part of the human being character. But how we can control this laziness and overcome it is how it affects our success, mainly by attachment to our goals, by giving reason and value of the things we are doing. And his proof was he mentioned a couple of basketball stars who achieved great success. And when their career was over, you see them, they are overweight. So they were back to the lazy lifestyle because they have nothing to do, Netflix, eating not healthy food. So their commitment and their discipline was because they needed to take the right choice towards achievement of their goals. So in our successful journey, our character, is it taking the hard choices to achieve what we need, or we leave ourselves vulnerable to the situation, to the environment, to what's happening around us, and go the easy way? So what is the quality of the choices? And what times in your life you feel that you are weak, you can't take the right choices? Sometimes we have strong choices and we can take them and we are in control, but sometimes this need beats us. So when is the time that you feel you are not up to the level of your thinking, maybe?
Usually at the end of the day, I feel like it's the hardest time because at that point you've spent your mental capacity and your willpower actually declines throughout the day. So you should be at your strongest in the morning.
Okay. And what will you do to overcome this like fluctuation and your energy and your willpower?
Be aware of it.
Okay.
Make prioritize those hard decisions in the beginning.
Start your day with the decisions that matter most. Don't keep them till the end. Like if you feel you have weak power in the afternoon, start your day with workout. So that, because if you leave the workout till the evening, you won't do it because you have weak willpower. So this way, when you are most active, take the most important decisions.
I feel like I'm wired the opposite. I feel like the mornings are the hardest for me, and I feel the most awake and productive in the evenings. And I have to force myself to go to sleep because I know I have to wake up early. But I feel like my brain just lights up like when it's getting dark. It's like time to work, and it's like, no, time to go to sleep. I have to fight against that and structure my mornings so that I don't waste my day.
I think
Yep. Yeah, Arthur.
I think we're all different. I mean, that's why it's so important that it says you do the hard things first, and you got to decide where your scope is. You know what I mean? Where you may say, man, from 12 to 8, I'm about the most productive. And people may say, hey, from 8. So me, I don't care what time I go to bed. I still wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30. And then I lay there a little bit. I got to make myself lay there. And then around 6 o'clock, I doze off again and get up at 7. Then the sun's up. It's like it's time to go. Right. And stuff. So I tell myself, hey, I had to reprogram myself because in the military, there ain't no time. I'd be in the office at 9, 10, 11, 12 at night and go home and get at 4 o'clock, go back. So it's just, I think that you just got to figure out, I think that you got to have a schedule. I don't care. I mean, I don't, people say, man, I don't eat late at night. The body it doesn't know that, that. So your body understands calories. So therefore you got to figure out your work schedule, what works for you. And then you got to make sure in between those time periods that is called your power hours, that you got to make sure that you're effective in those hours and you're not wasting them. No.
Yeah. That's why when you hear any information or anything in you need to reflect it to work for you. it's not about copying what other people are doing, because what works for them doesn't work necessarily for you. But you have to adjust that general idea towards your lifestyle, what you can do and what you can't. I'm not really, I'm productive in the morning, as I can read, I can do, but I like to relax in the morning. So I use this time for journaling. When I have a meeting early in the morning, I will be really frustrated and annoyed because I know I won't be able to do it. I wake up early, but I prefer to spend 2-3 hours just to have the clarity, to have the calmness. I don't like to interact with people fast, where some people do the best meetings in the morning. So it differs. So who didn't answer on this question? What are the victories, or what are the choices that you feel you are weak, not able to take? Anyone who likes to add? No? Okay. The third part about how to build the character ladder is, or how to focus inside than outside, is usually what we can control is our inside development. We can't control what happens to us. We can control what happens within us. So this is where we can focus. When we are facing hardship, it's about how we are thinking about our perception of the surrounding or what's happening. Like Sarah said, that when she goes into a room with negative feelings, she directly gets affected. So what do you think is a good idea to build this wall, this barrier to protect you from being affected? What do you tell yourself? What practices you do?
I think I go back to what Michael was saying about awareness. I mean, if you're trying, I think that if you wake up, hypothetically saying, you wake up in the morning, you're in a bad mood, and you understand that if light gets you fired up, and get up and open shades, right? So you have to create that environment where it's going to put you in the mood you want to be in. Or, if I think that we all get the control at some point, what we get to deal with, what our environment is. Now, if you go to work and your work is toxic environment, then you got to say, okay, then there's some things you're going to have to let filter through you. You let it out and don't grab it. And there's some things, stuff. So, but things that we have internally, I mean, for me, myself, I give it a morning. I'm not the person to hit the alarm clock snooze button. To me, that's what I later waiting for the snooze to go off. So when it goes off, I jump up, I'm ready to go. Right. I'm like, let's get this thing going, whatever, take a shower when you do it, and then I'm gone. Right. I don't sit there and drag around the house and him and haw, because I know that the longer I stay home, I ain't leaving. I already know that. If I'm there 2 or 3 hours doing something, I'm like, hey, I might well just stay and watch the news or hang out a little bit and stuff. So I got to get going and stuff. So I had to be aware of those things so that, yeah.
So this is what I have to do: put the bed by the door and go home directly, so I don't stay home, because I have these 2 hours in the morning that are like, just, I need to relax. Anyone likes to add anything, any weaknesses he likes to work on? What do you tell yourself when you feel you are weak towards taking the right choice? It's the matter of the questions we ask ourselves, what we tell ourselves. And I understand we can't be 100% in control. We are human beings and we have weaknesses, but we are trying to make the best out of it. Yes, Sarah.
I don't know why that noise. I get distracted easily, especially, I have my son always trying to get my attention. So I'm trying to be more mindful and aware of the things that I'm doing that are in hand. And it's been about maybe 2 weeks that I tell myself, okay, I'm doing this right now. Don't jump to something else. It might just be a simple, like, 2-minute thing, but I'm making sure if it's taking out the laundry from the washer to the dryer, make sure you turn on the dryer, because I could leave that just halfway and then leave. So every task that I'm doing, I'm just pausing, saying, okay, you need to do this, but first finish the task on hand. And that has been helpful because I'm actually annoyed by myself of how distracted I'm getting, jumping from one task to another without completing it.
Yeah, focus. One of the things I learned with increasing productivity is focus on one thing and don't leave it unless it's done. If you can do one thing only during the day and you do it in a perfect way, don't bother with multitasking. Multitasking is just something created that sometimes wastes time, because when you multitask, you are splitting your focus and your energy and everything in a couple of things, and you can't carry two. In Lebanon, we say you can't carry two watermelons with the same like at once. Do you say that? Is it in Lebanon and here? You say it?
I've never heard that.
Yeah, we say let me say it بالعربي so you can't ما فيك تحمل بطيختين. You can't carry two watermelons in both hands because one of them will fall. So it's important to focus on one task and finish it completely. And one of the things that were affecting a little bit my productivity when I started COVID, I didn't know where to focus, and I was trying to do a couple of things and I failed on all the things. So when you focus, you will give the best productivity. So Sarah, start building a schedule with write down one thing you need to finish perfectly during the day, one big task. And then if you still have energy, if you still have time, do the others. But you need more than 20 to 30 minutes to concentrate and start with the high level. You remember Brandon Burchard? So it's when you start working, you are not really effective and producing, but after a certain time, you are fully involved, fully focused. If you get distracted, then you are going nowhere. One task at a time. Any other comments?
Well, for me, at my job, we have to do a lot of things at one time. So like I don't have the luxury of just focusing on my work, because we all have to answer phones. And so like we have 4,500 members, so our phones are always ringing. We have chats that we have to answer. And then I'm responsible for overseeing. And so questions that people have, they come to me. And so what's really helped me is communication, because there are certain things that I can multitask, that I know that I can take a call and jump back in, but there are certain things that I can't. And that's when the communication, like I'll have to take myself off the phones and be like, I won't be available, for an hour or 30 minutes, or because I do have the luxury of starting my workday earlier or ending it later. If I know it's going to be a high call volume day, I already prepare myself mentally that from 8 to 5, that's where my main focus will be. And then, I'll probably work an extra hour earlier or after to have that quiet time to actually
have the
focus, because it was really stressing me out, because I do get frustrated very easily, that I was being pulled in so many directions, and it's part of my job description to do all those things. But that doesn't mean that I lose control of my day, of my structure. And so really becoming aware of the things that work for me and what doesn't really helped. And that's why I tell my group too, because sometimes most of us don't, when you're in an office or customer service job, you don't get that option to structure your day. You know, pretty much you take it as it comes. You take the problems as they come, because it's not, every day is not the same.
Yeah.
And so for me, that has helped me a lot to, when the day begins, my first thing is I look at the calendar, what's scheduled for today, and I try to anticipate things that may come, and then I just prepare myself mentally for that,
Yeah.
because I can't focus on just one thing.
Again, it's all about the mindset, but let me clarify one thing. What I said, you can't carry 2 watermelons at once, because watermelons need effort, need focus, and they are big tasks that you carry. You can carry 2 small balls. Like, you can answer the phone and do something, but if you want to do budgeting for I don't know your office, but I'm thinking if you want to do budgeting, it needs full focus. You can't be doing a couple of things at the same time. You can't keep stopping and coming back. So when you have this task and you answer that, you communicate with the people, with your colleagues, and tell them, you know what, you answered the calls, I need to focus. Maybe you move on another desk, a room inside where there's no distraction. So this is the point about it. When you want to be really productive, you need to focus on one thing, and that's it, especially if it was big and important. Michael?
I think system 1, system 2. It's like everyone has 2 systems. So one is like, for system 1 is like the automatic. So like if you're talking to somebody on the phone when you're driving, you're focused on the conversation. So you're using your system 2 to drive the car. But then if you're about to, like, there's an accident in front of you and you're about to crash, you switch, and then your attention focuses on what's immediately in front of you. And then you would tell the person on the phone, like, oh, hey, hang on a sec. There's like somebody's about to get in an accident or something.
Yep.
And then you go back. So it's just, you have those 2 systems that you focus on. But yeah, I think that in terms of multitasking, we can't really do 2 things at once well. So we should have those big tasks that require a lot of attention on our system 2 thinking and logical thinking, one at a time.
Yep. Exactly. It's only the habits that they become automatic are the things that you can do while doing something else that needs it. Jim Rohn says the only way you can multitask is when your body is busy and you're not thinking. You can listen to a podcast or listen to a motivational video or learn something, but you can't be watching TV and learning something, reading a book and watching TV. It doesn't work, because your mind is thinking in both, and you can't split. The second thing we need to talk about building a character, we are living in a world, we're not by ourselves. The main point about our living is being surrounded with people, and how we treat people is a reflection of our character, how we how we see people, how we look toward them. So how do you think successful people act with people?
I think that from my experience, they're very, for the most part, they're generous. They're generous people. I think that they say the wealth that you receive is in direct proportion of how much you give back, how much you give to people. And so I used to think that, oh my gosh, the richer they are, the more money they have, the more snotty or bad attitude towards others will have, and actually is the opposite. But I believe is with people that literally build their wealth from work, because they understand how the work that it takes to build it. And so I think they're generous people for the most part, and they understand that everybody wants to be there, but it just especially when they come across people that want to get there and they're willing to put in the work, they're more willing to help.
Yeah.
I got I got to disagree a little bit with you, Cynthia, with that.
Let's see.
I'll say this here. You know, I believe this, and that the majority of rich people in high place, they see people as resources and tools. That's what it is, right? They see them as resources and tools. And now, and this is the thing here, you won't get, and the only way you get into that circle is if you think like them, you act like them, and you have something in common. And if you're not there where they are, they won't see you as that, as their level. So therefore, they teach you something different. I'm not saying they'll think I'm not saying they will think bad on you, but you won't get that different. It'll be a different conversation. It'll be a different interacting because of the level of expertise they are and you here. It's like trying to bring a $5 bill to $100 conversation. It ain't gonna work. So it depends on who you are, is what you're going to get from somebody at a higher echelon and stuff. I'm not saying if you was around them, they wouldn't be cordial with you. It just would be a different conversation because of how they will see you based upon what level you are. So I think the majority of the time they see people as a source of resources when it comes to building their business and getting them where they need to be.
Okay, now this is a debate that I like. I like when there's a big difference between being successful and being rich.
Yeah.
So what we are addressing now is successful people. Being rich, maybe you have you win a lottery and you became rich, but that means you are not an influencer. You don't have the right character to success. So you are addressing people who are rich, who are seeing people as resources, are waiting only to see what they get from people, not what they give. But we are talking about successful people who have money, but there's a lot more into their success than only money. And maybe they are successful being influencer, being great people, and they can make money, but they don't care about money. So their success is their character, their personality,
Okay, so you're asking how is their success influential upon other people?
How do they treat people, like,
right? So
or how they see people?
Well, I mean, okay, if you take the money out of it and just say I don't know, just say Michael is a successful person. I mean, success, not talk about money, and maybe in development, maybe in success can come from, he was successful and been the best walker in whatever. I mean, if he's willing to share it, I mean, successful people sometimes, I mean, if depends on who you are and your character. Sometimes you hold it to yourself or maybe you share it. It depends on if you're inverted or you're an outgoing person. I mean, it depends on an individual person. I mean, I believe that no matter what you have in life, you should share it. If you got something from it, you should share with others. But some do and some don't. I think it depends on that individual.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes, Michael.
I feel like I have previously chased other people's definition of success, so I don't currently feel successful after having done some introspection on how I would define success, not in the context of societal views, but my personal views. So in that sense, I guess I'm working to make some changes there.
You know, Michael, when you reach a point and you say, I'm successful, I achieved my goals, then you are at the level of losing everything and losing the value of what you achieved. The power is always looking for more and achieving more. If you have all the money in the world, now you have another goal to look for another value, maybe helping people, maybe making change in life. And this is about, maybe you are successful. I see you successful because you have a great job, you have good income, you are working on your personal growth, but not necessarily you see yourself successful because you want more. Okay, I'm doing the right things, but I didn't achieve what I want, so I don't see myself successful. And no one does. And if you listen to Jim Rohn, he says, like, I achieved a lot, but I can do more. And I'm saying Jim Rohn. So yeah, that's normal to think of yourself. But how do you look at people? How do you treat people? Anyone?
I mean, I think we all. I think we could sit up in here. I believe that growth should be going on. I believe that people should be constantly trying to make themselves better, and there should never be a top out point. But let's be real. People reach it every day. That's why the world never changes. People will reach growth. They don't think they need to change because they think I'm right where I need to be, and therefore they're not. But I believe in, we should help everybody. Everybody should be helped. Everybody, but we should give. We should always be giving and stuff. And my success in me is I'm like you, Michael. I mean, bro, I've always lived that way. I don't care. I never look at other people for who I need to be. I look for other people. I look at other people's character to decide what I need to do to build my leadership or who I am to become to what Arthur wants to be and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that inside of me, I think there's always, it's about your branding. You're always, stuff. So I think that my success will always continue as me as a person. You know what I mean? So I don't look at Michael, I don't look at Sarah, I don't look at Dalida or Cynthia and go, oh my God, where am I? Am I where I need to be? I'm right exactly where I need to be based upon what I think, but I know that I should always be seeking for something better. I should always be, because we always can learn something new. So I know I'm probably going a whole lot more deeper than I need to go, but I just think that my success is based upon where I want to be. If I stop it, like you said, I'm dying stuff. So, but we should always be seeking a higher place. We should.
Yeah, I think that growth is a constant process, and everyone has their own path, and no point in comparing yourself to other people's paths, because what's right for you, it's not right for them. What's right for them is not going to be right for you. And I think it's like what Albert Einstein said, like he talks to the janitor the same way he would talk to the professor of a university. So that's how you talk about treating other people well.
Yep, it goes to treat other people like you like to be treated. How you reflect. Yes, Sylvia.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the way that I look at people, I like to look at community and like people like they're my tribe. Like we're sometimes too focused on the goals that we forget that we have an opportunity to impact others. And what really motivated me to seek my success, I guess, is, I don't want to get to the top and have nobody next to me. I want the people that I love, my friends, my family, that they move up with me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just one of those things, never forgetting where you came from, and having an understanding that it is a luxury to be able to be creative and to be able to have that personal development and to grow, because it takes having a healthy mind and a healthy heart, and knowing that there's people in my community that don't have that luxury gives me a perspective of, like Arthur was saying, of giving back. Because as I move up in the world and I help the people around me move up in the world, there's people that just don't have the emotional health or mental health to even think about that, because they're in survival mode. So I like to see it from that perspective, that as I move up in the world and not to focus on the goals and the success so much that I miss the opportunities that life has given me to actually have true success, which is impacting the people around me. And I love to quote, I might not be able to change the world, but I can change my world. I can change the world for the people around me by, yes, achieving my goals and being goal oriented in the personal development, but also by helping them discover, you know, their identity, their worth, who they are, their healing, so that they can also, you know, do that for somebody else. And then, I mean, if we all did that, our communities would be so strong, and we would have more, I think, collectively, than if we just are always so focused on ourselves and what am I going to get
Yep.
for me.
But you know what though, Sylvia, you're exactly right. But it's our culture. It's how we're raised. You know, and unfortunately, people are developed and shaped based upon their environment, what they hear and what they see, and you know, and that's and we all should pull together and look at each other, respect one another, and see, hey, we all have something to offer. We all can bring something to the table. But unfortunately, in this America, somebody always got to feel like they got to be on top.
Yeah.
Somebody always gonna be trying to fight for the top. That means that you got to step on you to get there. And and that's why a lot of people understand that it's through the art of teamwork that we all can win together if we come together for a common cause. But that's gonna be a battle forever. I don't think we'll be here when that happens and stuff. But you're right though. Yeah.
And here comes the part of gratitude, being grateful for the people around you, people who help you. There are two things I need to share with you. There's a Chinese proverb that says, those who drink the water must remember those who dug the well, because without the well, you can't have the water. So it's always, you can't achieve anything, and there's no self-made man or woman. It's always by the help and support of people around you. Whether you want to admit it or not, you can't go anywhere by yourself. You need to struggle and find the community. I'm suffering with that. If I want to try to build, especially that I'm new in the US, I can't be building anything by myself. I need people around me. That's why I joined Toastmasters with Sylvia. I joined the Chamber of Commerce, Rotary Club. I'm always working with you, Cynthia and Arthur, with friends Sarah and friends around me. And Michael, so you don't stay left out. But the point is, you can't achieve anything by yourself. You need the community around you. But to change the community, the world, the city, the state you are in, you have to start by changing yourself, by treating people the way you like to be treated, by improving yourself, by giving value, by changing your daily habits so you can influence your surrounding.
I believe that, can I add something to that?
Yep, sure.
I believe that, all those things can be done, and like you said, somebody has to carve the path for somebody else to succeed. And we may not see the results immediately, but somebody can start something, and then somebody else can continue on and continue working on that same particular path. But that only happens if we really focus on what we want, and not having any concern in what other people think or talk or say about us. Because if we do, that's when we stop, right? We're too concerned about what other people are going to say. What are they going to say? What are they going to think about me? They're going to criticize me. And at the end, who cares? Because we know where we're going. And if, people that are the most criticized, people that are more than, I don't know, in the open, I guess I should say, are the ones that at the end succeed the most. Look how many people criticize Obama, right? Or try to criticize his programs and bring him down and cancel and all that stuff. But at the end, he was still a great president, and he's just as one of an example. But it's just in order for us to do something, or anybody, we have to carve it, and it has to be done without worrying about criticism or what anybody thinks. And I think that's the hardest part, when you want to be in business and you're worried about somebody telling you no, or what somebody is going to think about you. That's the, nobody's going to die for it. It just makes us better.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cynthia. I feel like I needed to hear that. So appreciate that.
It's awesome. Yeah, seriously. I mean, I used to be like that, Michael. I mean, I'm not saying I'm already where I want to be, but I used to be worse. Like, oh my gosh, that person didn't smile at me, or that person didn't like it. You know what? Who cares? Oh, I'm gonna give you an example. You know, I do videos, and I would say, how can I do this where I'm not even where I want to be? What are they gonna say? You know, what is Cynthia doing? And at the end, I decided, you know, obviously with working on my mindset, is like, who cares what they think? I'm not doing this for them. I'm doing this for me, and to make me better, and to put myself out there, and for other people to attract people that think like me or better.
There is a quote. I'm trying to look for it. I don't remember the exact word, but it says, like, when you are a teenager, you think everything is focusing on you. When you grow up a little bit, you start saying that people, okay, are looking what you do, but they are continuing in their life. But when you are old, you discover that no one ever thought about you or think about you. It's people forget. When you do something that embarrasses you in front of people, you feel that people remember it after several years, but people forget it, and it's only in your mind that, oh my God, people know that I did this thing. So I don't know if it's clear, but I'll try to look for it and send it to you, because it's very important. People don't think about you as much as you think they do. And if they do, it's their problem, not yours.
I think
When I teach public speaking, one more thing, when I teach public speaking, I say what people think about you or judge you, it's their problem, not yours. And
yeah, but I think that when you get 50 years old, you don't care anymore.
yeah, you don't care anymore, whatever they say.
Age just brings, and it's true, man. You know, I don't care what I look like anymore when I go. I went to the store today. I told Cynthia I look like a bum. But you know what I said? I don't care. It doesn't matter what people think, right? All it matters about how I feel and stuff. So you can't. I just say, you know, Michael. I mean, as my leadership with Marine Corps, people hated me, people love me. And I always said, long as I'm legal, moral, and ethical, firm, fair, and consistent, I can't care. So as long as I'm firm, fair, and consistent across the board, someone's always going to be unhappy, and some is going to love it. So just stay consistent with that, and that's how I always did my leadership. And I tell them the same thing: firm, fair, and consistent. And you can't get them all, but you'll get most. And that's all that matters. Yeah.
Yep. We are done. That was really a wonderful lesson today. I need just to summarize the few steps for us to focus on building the character. The first one is start from the inside, then improve the outside. The second thing is focus on people. The third thing that it's important to be honest and say what we believe in, not borrow other people's belief. And we didn't have time to go deeper into this, but it's important to reflect on that. John Maxwell says borrowed beliefs are not owned beliefs. So if you hear someone says something, you don't need to say it back or teach it because he said it. If you don't believe in it, don't say it or don't teach it. Let everything that you say be coming from from inside of you. And the last thing is having humility, and we discussed that with how to treat people. It's important to have this humility, know that we can do anything by ourselves, to be grateful who help us, what we have, and be teachable at the end. Learn to be teachable and learn new things. The last thing I want to share with you is, before I share, do you have anything you like to share?
Nope.
Yes, Sarah.
When I wanted to add, when you were asking about how we see successful
People.
or what do successful people do, in my experience, the successful people that I'm surrounded by, I feel like they celebrate other people's success, and that I noticed, and maybe that also is related to gratitude. They appreciate the people around them, because that without those individual people, they probably have not reached where they are.
Yep.
So it's important to celebrate other people's wins and successes. And that's what I've noticed as a characteristic or something that I've noticed. I'm sure there's many more, but you can kind of differentiate, like they celebrate your wins and successes.
Yeah. You know, let me just remove the